last sentence I heard properly, but let's see.
It's breaking.
Now I can hear, but let's see how it's gonna be.
All right. Okay. So let's see how it goes. So let's just come back in the posture and observe the breath. And when you feel ready, begin to deepen your breath. Relax the body, relax the mind. We'll be chanting Om 3 times, followed by 3 Shantis. Exhale completely and inhale for Om. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Just feel the vibrations. And join both the palms together. Rub both the palms together. Keep them on the eyes. And very slowly, while blinking and looking at the palms, open up your eyes, come back with a smile, and namaste to everyone. Yeah. So we were talking about again the lifestyle of a yoga practitioner, and we discussed 2 more points. One was recreation, how recreation is such an important part of your yoga journey, how it helps one to navigate through the various situations, the various circumstances in life. And then we talked of achar or conduct, right? And what is the right conduct? And I touched upon yamas and niyamas in a very summarized manner. So let's move to we'll finish this topic today. So let's move to the next most important thing. When you are practicing yoga, you again, you bring about some change in this aspect, and that is your vichar. VICHAR. Now, before I go deeply into what is the right thing to do, very important to the influence that our thoughts have on us. And it is very hard to change your thoughts. And not only that, it takes a lot of time. And when a yoga practitioner begins until a very like later point in the journey, thoughts are any which way going to remain. Yeah. So you will try to concentrate. There will be a point when you reach the concentration stage where you choose an object. But even when you choose the object and you make an effort, you see that you have so many thoughts, right? And with very deep practice, with very long term practice, it is then that the thoughts start reducing a little bit. So, coming to just one thought, that one object is also very difficult for us to staying connected with the object. So, most of our lives, we are going to deal with thoughts. And the way in which we shape our thoughts, it's going to shape our life. Yeah. And if you want to understand this more deeply, you will find multiple books on this topic where changing the thoughts has changed the life of a lot of people, and how thoughts influence us, right? So one thing that has been established from all these books, all these studies, is that thoughts do have a lot of weightage on us. And uh, even if you do not believe in this, you can actually work on your thoughts and see the change that is coming in your life, right? So then you might be able to understand a little bit what I'm talking about. But if you already believe this thing, then you can immediately begin your journey of introspecting and changing your thoughts, right? So it's just about when the journey is going to start, if you believe or if you don't believe, but they greatly impact how we live, right? So all the previous points that I have discussed, somewhere thoughts are a major thing that is there. If the thoughts are, controlled, if the thoughts are channeled, right, then you will be able to adopt all of these things, everything that we have talked in lifestyle, much more easily. Hence, you begin to shape a portion of your own practical experience, your own reality, when you shift from negative thoughts to more positive thoughts, right? I believe it's a more practical approach, because getting rid of the thoughts, again, as I said, is a very high level stage. So, what we can do is we can channel them and we can direct them towards a more positive point, right? So, at least that will help us. Otherwise, we will be in mostly in a negative thought pattern. Most of us think of what is the worst that could happen, right? That is how our mind functions. And it is very hard to even balance this out when you begin on this journey of exploring the mind and how your thoughts are functioning. Even balancing out a negative thought with a positive thought is a lot of work in the beginning, but it does come to a point when it gets balanced, and when you start balancing it, then you can direct it towards a positive, more positive approach, right? More helpful approach for you. And it's going to actually aid you to keep certain things in your life which are so when you mentally prepare yourself for certain things, that is when the actual thing, when it comes, your mind is ready. Because right now our thoughts go in multiple directions, so we do not have any particular direction. right? Sometimes, you get this feeling of being directionless or lost. A lot of people experience this thing. Why? Because the moment they try to gather their thoughts, the moment they try to, work on their thoughts, they see how negative they are and they get afraid of it. And then they still allow their thoughts to run in all the directions, and you know it's not directed towards what they want to achieve. So if suppose you have limited energy, we have limited energy, right? So now we are giving it in thousands of directions. So it is more likely that we are not going to achieve what we want to achieve than it is. Sometimes luck comes in, we get what we want. But when you set a target, when you set an aim, it helps you. That is why, when you prepare for exams or when people prepare for interviews, job interviews, you will see that because they have a goal, their entire energy is directed towards it, all the thoughts are directed towards that. So they are able to achieve it, right? So being a student, being a professional, when you have a goal set, it becomes easier for you. And you are able to achieve things also because of this reason only, that you have given direction to your thoughts. So next time when you observe your thoughts, do not get overwhelmed. It's the common tendency of the mind to run in so many directions. All you have to do is accept it and slowly start working on it. That is why your meditation classes are very, very important, right? So the more we work on these things, the better our life gets, right? And it's constant work. No one meditated for 10 days and after that, said that rest of their life is whole set. No, they have to put in effort and work every day. So like you have to go to the gym every other day or every day, you have to take out time. In that same way, you need to make time for, you know your thoughts, where you reflect on your thoughts, where you reflect on the way in which you have dealt with something and how it is connected to your thought pattern, right? And then you can actually see yourself, how you deal with things, rather than, like a third person sees us and tells some things about us, our habits. In that same way, when you reflect, you are able to see yourself as someone separate from your own self, and see how you are dealing with things. How, when you are put in a moment of crisis, what is your route, what is your action that you generally take during that situation. And if it is destructive for you and everyone around you, then you have to work on changing it. So one thing is that you observe, and the other thing is you get the courage to accept. When you accept, you start working towards those things. So in yoga also, very important emphasis is given to thoughts, and it has been said that it is really important to channel the negative thoughts and go towards the positive thoughts. So it doesn't mean that you will not have negative thoughts, it doesn't mean you will not have negative emotions, but you can channel them, right? There is some energy in the body which is generated when you feel something negative, and it is very strong, right? So you can work on channeling that. So that is why I discussed recreation yesterday. So you can channel that thing, and today we are working on more deep level, where after channeling that, what do you have to do? You have to direct yourself towards positive thinking. And it is quite a funny thing that goes on in life. Even though we know what we want, we have the tendency to focus more on what we don't want. Yeah. So suppose you are given a goal. So first thing that the human mind does is sees the obstacles that it's going to face when it's going to achieve, work towards those goals. So we put most of our energy throughout the day focusing on the problems rather than the solutions. So of course, whatever will gain, get more attention, it will grow, right? If you are giving more attention to the negatives in life or the obstacles, then you are going to see them grow. You are going to see that more of that thing starts happening. But if you just merely, just a simple step of changing the focus, if you just, wherever you are sitting, it doesn't matter, just turn your angle a little bit and change your perspective towards something, or change your approach towards something, you will see that same situation can now become an opportunity for you instead of an obstacle. So that is how you slowly begin to shift your focus, where each and every obstacle that comes on your path, you understand that it is an opportunity, right? It is there. What you make out of it is up to you. That is why some people, when they face hardships in life, they shine bright. And you would whenever you read autobiographies, you will see that most people, when they talk of their life, they mention a lot of obstacles, but they also mention how they were focused on whatever they wanted to achieve. So that same thing, happened with a lot of people around them, but they got out of it because their focus was different. Even in the same situation, when the focus changes, the obstacle becomes, an opportunity. And this has been very beautifully put in a book called, very famous book, The Monk Who Sold His Ferrari by Robin Sharma. In that book, he, very beautifully puts that everything that happens to you in life, it's a lesson. Most of us get stuck, I failed, but he said that it is a lesson. So learn the lesson and move, because if you don't learn the lesson and move, you will be our goal and not let it stop us where, wherever it is. Because even failure and success, the definition in your head is totally made up by you, your circumstances, the people around you, the culture in which you operate. So don't, as per society, if you don't, then society can timeline set. And so sorry, yeah, am I audible? Can you guys hear me?
You are, yeah, in and out now, but we missed everything from pretty much the lesson from Robin Sharma.
Oh, okay, yeah. All right, so I'll repeat that. So, The Monk Who Sold His Ferrari, that book, in that book, he said that, everything you experience in life is a lesson. So just learn the lesson, and you will, like, uh, once you incorporate the learning, next time when that thing comes up, you will be able to, come out of it more easily. One thing. Second thing, everything that happens in your life is actually trying to teach you something, right? So if you see it as an obstacle, you will get stuck over there. But if you see it as an opportunity, as a learning experience, as a lesson in your life, you will be able to move ahead, because, change is the only constant. So we are going to move ahead in our lives with changing times. We cannot stop. We would like to, we would love to, but, changes keep happening. Day comes, night comes, right? Then days pass by, months, years. So time as we understand it, is moving ahead, right? So we also need to be up to date, right? Like the phone software or the computer software, we also need to be up to date. So whatever, no matter what difficulty you face in life, if you just take out time to reflect on where you can work better, and then just immerse yourself in the process of making yourself better, you will go ahead very fast. You will uh, move ahead in your life really quickly, because you are meant to learn something out of a particular whatever happens in your life, right? So the more easily you are able to accept, first thing is acceptance, then the courage to work on it. The more easily you are able to get this, the more easily you will be able to move ahead, right? So changing the thinking, changing your perspective is very important, especially when you are on the path of yoga, because no matter what you believe in, eventually, your own experience, that is the main thing for you. So your own experience is going to, sometimes neglect what you have been taught, right? And it's very hard at that point of time when we have to neglect whatever we have believed throughout our lives. But if it is for your better, go ahead and adopt that thing and make your life better. There is no reason for you to stop at a particular opinion, at a particular way of thinking or dealing with something. If it makes your life better, go ahead and adopt that thing, right? So your thinking eventually is going to change your life. And whenever you are in yoga, in such a spiritual process like yoga, you will, see this thing that there is a need for you to keep your thoughts really focused on, the spiritual things, especially if you're pursuing it for spiritual purpose. Read those types of books, watch those types of videos. They are going to help you along your path, because the more you listen to something, it gets in your mind, and then you start processing that thing. So changing the environment according to what you are doing will also help you to move ahead in your yoga journey, right? So let's come to the last point. Are there any doubts so far? No doubts?
No,
Am I
no.
audible to you guys?
Yes, yeah, you're audible. No doubts.
All right. Great. So last thing is your behavior. Behavior. Vyavhar. 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 Or behavior. Right? So behavior is also very important when you come into yoga, because how you behave is so important. You When you come into yoga, you see, how you behave, it's reflected back to you, one thing. And second thing, the way in which you interact with everyone around you, you are connected to everything around you, right? So if you are connected to everything around you, if you do not um conduct, or sorry, behave in the correct manner, right? If you do not behave in the correct manner, then you are somewhere, going away from the realization that you are one and the same thing, right? So our environment and us, when we get very disconnected, especially in city life, you will see when we are very disconnected, people in city life, they are mostly unable to come to more organic switch to more organic eating options, or if you are non-vegetarian, you will see that they're not able to switch that easily. Why? Because they do not have the time, and they are totally living in a place where it's full of buildings and vehicles and all of that. So um, very disconnected from nature, and hence they do not see how things are produced, how things come to you, what is the process. The closer you are to nature, the more you will see how much we harm other things in order to fulfill our own wants. I would say more than needs, it's more about wants these days, right? So the closer you are to nature, the more you will see, right, that your behavior is having an impact. And city people, they don't even have the time, right? They have to work to sustain their life in the city, because cities are expensive, right? So if they do not put in that much work, they won't be able to live in the city. So they do not have, mostly they cannot. It takes a lot of initiative on their end to switch. But somebody who lives close to nature sees how things are produced, how they are transported, what goes on. They are more likely to be more connected to the entire process and more sensitive. Because of this, they become more sensitive, so they are more aware of how they behave, how they interact with everything around them, right? And yoga also talks of behavior, and two very major concepts that yoga talks of. One is in Bhagavad Gita, uh, where we will also study this in depth, where karma yoga has been talked of, the path of action, where Krishna ji, he tells Arjun how the action should be. And in that he says, and we have done this when we covered the definition of yoga, where we also covered that skillfulness in the action. So without expectation, with full concentration and dedication, how each action is to be performed, that has been given in Bhagavad Gita and widely talked of, that it is very necessary to release the expectation when we do something and merely focus on our task. It is our duty to do certain things in life, and to see everything we do in life as a duty helps you to detach yourself from that thing, from the results of that thing, right? Put your 100% into the process, but when it comes to results, be free of expectation. Will be free from so much suffering and distress that you cause to your own self when you are doing this thing, when you are freeing yourself from the expectation of everything that you are doing, right? And then another very important concept that Patanjali ji gave, still relevant. He gave the concept of how you have to interact with certain people in your life. So, all the people that you meet in your life, they're going to be broadly divided into four categories. Some people you will say those are good vibe people, right? So sometimes we meet someone and we get very positive, good vibes from them. So, good vibes. So, people who have good at heart, right? So he said that when you meet such people, show an attitude of friendliness, right? So, Metri, he used the word Metri. M Maitri, right? He said that be friendly towards such people who are happy, who give you good vibes, and it's very important for you to surround yourself with more and more people, having this type of attitude towards you, right? This type of good vibe uh, towards you. It's very important to have such people in your life, right? Then you will meet people who suffer, right? So those who are in dukkha. So whenever somebody suffers, he says that you will come across such people who are suffering, going through a lot in their life. And because you are on the path of yoga, you understand that everybody is suffering. And because you have this, at least you have a tool. So you understand you have come from that suffering, and now you are working on your own self. So show compassion towards them. So he said karuna. Karuna. He said that, everybody, even Osho says this thing, that, everybody suffers. And the only difference between a spiritual person and a person who doesn't believe is that the one who believes will know that there is something beyond the suffering, and that person will set themselves on the path of exploring what is that something else beyond the suffering. Like Siddhartha Gautam, also famously known as Buddha, did. He did not stop at suffering. He saw that there was a lot of suffering, but he never stopped. He said that if there is suffering, there is going to be a solution. So do not stop at that thing. So sometimes people, you will see that they stop at their suffering. So it's okay. They are going to take their time, and allow them to take their time. But there is going to be a point. This is the nature's way of giving you an opportunity to elevate yourself. If you are busy enjoying life, you will never, reflect upon the meaning, the purpose of your life. You will never think of getting out of this suffering, this illusion of happiness that you are in, right? So people who enjoy, they are happy and still getting some taste out of the material world. You will see they do not come into spirituality too much. They do not believe in that because they're still enjoying the worldly pleasures, right? So they themselves need to come to that, point in their life where they see the suffering. And when they see the suffering, then they have a choice. Either they can stay stuck in that suffering, or they can work towards coming out of it. So you guys are working towards coming out of it, right? You must have also seen a lot of suffering in your life, be it in any form. We all see some form of suffering in life, right? So you chose to come out of it. So that's a brilliant thing. So you will meet some people who are still not in a state where, they see the suffering, but their mind is so absorbed in the suffering that they cannot see that there is a way to come out of it, to elevate themselves above that suffering as well. So when you meet such people who have gone through it, show compassion. It is so important, because someday someone showed compassion towards you and you started believing. So it's very important that now you become the person who makes someone believe, right? Sometimes, some students, they come and they tell us, we met this XYZ person in our life and they were so peaceful, calmful. They treated us so well. And then, they suggested that, go do yoga. It has great benefits. So then, people come into yoga on somebody's recommendation, someone that they saw, changed their life. So become that person for someone else who is suffering, and show compassion. You never know how much, your compassion can impact someone's life. For someone who is sad, just 2 3 good words from you can change their day. For you, maybe they were just, you say those words to 10 people or 20 people in a day. For you, they were just those same words. But for them, you were the only ray of hope. You were the person who showed kindness to them, right? So be that person, be compassionate when you meet someone who is suffering, right? So, third type of people that you will meet in your life, you know, they're going to be people who are very virtuous. And when you meet someone who is very virtuous, interact with them in a very joyful manner. So, mudita. Patanjali ji said mudita or joy. When you meet a punya means virtuous person in your life, interact with them with a lot of joy, right? Because they're already so much ahead on the path, right? And they have this tendency of, when you meet someone who is virtuous, you will be in their presence and you will feel calm, you will feel, very sometimes, when we are very agitated and we go to church or we go to the temple, so you feel a little bit calm. So something like that feeling when you meet someone in your life, you just sit around them, you feel that calmness, that sense of balance, and that person is capable of guiding you on your journey. So someone like a guru that you choose, when you know that person has walked the path and can guide you on the path, interact with a lot of joy with that person, because that person has the best intention for you in their heart. They have the intention of elevating you from your suffering, right? Their aim is not just to,
Can't hear now. Sorry, can't hear.
now.
Yeah, now I can hear.
All right. So I was saying that
Hello?
going to be. Hello.
Oh, yeah, it's
Can you
getting
hear
better.
me?
Now I can hear you, yeah.
All right. Wait, let me switch the network. Okay. Am I audible?
Yes, yes.
All right. Yeah. So I was telling you about this category of people who will want your highest good. It's not necessary that in the form of a guru only. Sometimes we meet certain people in our life, they end up being,
Hello?
friendships that also. Can you hear me?
Sometimes I can hear you, sometimes I can't.
All right. Wait. Am I audible?
Yes.
Okay, great. Right. So I was telling you that sometimes you will meet people, it doesn't necessarily have to be a guru, but some people want your highest good and they're going to push you towards that highest good, right? Even though they know that the process is difficult for you. Most your parents, parents also come in this category. They're going to push you towards something good. So such virtuous people always interact with a lot of joy with them, you know, give them all the respect that they need, give them, you know, be in a very positive attitude when you are around them, right? Even some days you might not feel like it. On those days, I'm saying that, you know, interact, remember this thing and interact with a lot of joy, because deep down we know who wants our highest good and who doesn't, right? So
How do we
you
know
will
that?
see that. Sorry.
How do we know that?
See, the more you get connected to yourself, the deeper you get connected to yourself, you will understand. Sometimes some people, they put us through a lot of hardship, but it's only because they know we have the potential and it is for our highest good. You also want to achieve your potential, but it is a tough journey. So some people can put you through a little bit tough time, but you will understand this thing. The deeper you get connected to yourself, the more quickly you will get to know who has your highest good in mind or who doesn't. And a very good way of seeing it in my experience has been like your
Hello?
parents,
Hello?
hello,
Yeah, yeah, can hear.
can you hear me?
Yes, now, yeah. Hello? Hello?
Yeah, I was saying parents.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, you can hear me, right?
Sometimes I can hear, sometimes it's going.
So I was saying our parents. Yeah. Can
Can't hear, can't hear.
you go again? Hello.
Hello, yeah.
Your voice is also breaking.
Is it okay? I don't know whether it's a connection here. Is anybody else can hear?
I can hear. Now I can hear. Now I can hear.
Okay.
So my voice is breaking
Yeah.
in between.
Yeah.
Oh. Actually, there are
Oh, no, it's breaking up.
oh. Hello.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Can you hear me? Hello.
Yeah, I can hear you. Hello, and can you hear me? No, I can't hear.
I can hear Rika.
Am I audible?
Yes.
Okay, great. Before I take any doubts, let me complete the last one because network is not very good. Okay, last is you are going to meet certain people in your life who are going to have very ill intention towards you, right? So with them, you are going to, be in a mode of indifference towards such people, right? So Maitri, Karuna, Mudita, and then Upeksha. Right? So showing indifference towards such people is very important because again you're going to come across a lot of people who will not have good intention in their heart for you, and it is at this point of time that you really need to
Hello. Hello.
generate that attitude of indifference. So just choosing or notice. Hello.
Yeah, yeah. Now I can hear.
Okay, great. Yeah.
What do you
So I
mean
was
by
saying,
difference?
see, that is what I'm telling you, that mentally you are stable, right?
Yeah. Hello.
But you are just choosing, I mean by indifference. Hello. Can you hear me?
In between, I didn't hear you.
All right. I was saying creating an attitude of that mind is calm, okay? And your you are just not choosing to focus on that thing, right?
Okay.
So you are just shifting your focus towards people who are positive or virtuous. First, on your mind, you have to keep the mind calm, right? But because your interaction is inevitable, it happens a lot of times, you don't get a good boss or somebody is
Hello.
going to be nuisance, right? So you can just choose to shift your focus.
Okay.
That is
Uh,
what I mean by indifference. That situation goes back, right, to the positive in life. It's very important.
okay. And hello. Hello.
That is what he meant when he said that such people or words such, right?
Sorry, I didn't hear you in between.
I was saying that that is what he meant when he said,
Okay.
indifference.
Okay.
Yeah. Any doubts?
You know, you said about like, virtuous people. That's okay. Like, we sometimes will feel positive, but there are like people who can have, like, as you said, ill intention as well, where one person might not know, and we were told, like, we have to be truthful all the time. If our truthfulness can have a negative impact on us with interaction with the third group of people, what do we do? Like, what kind of um, what shall our motto when we're speaking to them? We need to give everything away, like whatever their questions, they will have a lot of questions for us.
Hmm. See, truthfulness, first you need to work on your meditation very deeply to reach the correct truth, right? Right now, the truth can be subjective. When you talk of interaction with multiple people, the truth can be quite subjective. So first you need to, reach that stage where you are sure that whatever truth you are trying to say or tell someone in a group of people, it is actually the truth. First thing is that. So first you have to observe this thing, and second, you do not have to justify. If it is actually the truth, time will, even if they are not able to come to that acceptance, time is going to play its role.
Okay. So what was the first one? Sorry, we can't hear.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah,
It's breaking, or is it okay?
it's okay
Yeah.
now.
All right. Yeah, I was saying, like, from your question, I gathered. So, first thing is that you see the truth, right? And it has to be the truth. So, we live in very subjective truths. All right. So, first, you need to make sure that whatever truth you're talking of, it is the truth, right? Then, second thing, which is important, when you know it is the reality, it is the truth, at that point of time, see, all of us are running a race, right? Some are ahead, some are behind. So sometimes you will find certain people who are behind you in their journey. So time will play a role in that case, right? When they will reach that stage of understanding, so you need to give them time, right? And
Okay.
same thing, if you are the one who is falling behind and somebody is ahead of you, and they are looking out for your highest good, you need to have this maturity and understanding and have this faith, right? That they are looking out, they have their best interest at heart. So take your time to absorb what they have said and see if it is subjective for you or if it is something which is, you know it is true, right? So you
Okay.
need to make this distinction. It's very important because we live in our subjective truths, right? So it's very necessary to, that is why work on your meditation as much as possible. It is
What
going to.
what is
Mhm.
subjective truth?
See, I can think that, something is true, but it's true according to me, right?
Okay.
So, like, same goes for all of the definitions that we have in our head, right? Depending on which culture, society we have been exposed to, we believe certain things and we do not believe certain things. So sometimes, we see a situation from those colors only, the glasses, the color of the glasses that you are wearing. But
Yes.
some things change, right? From culture to culture also. So you
Yes.
need to be in touch with yourself in order to understand this distinction between both the things, right? So you will have your own truth in a situation. If two people fight, if you listen to the side of uh, maybe x, one person is x, one is y. When you listen to x side is justified. Then you listen to y side is also justified. But the
Yeah,
level is not same, right? So both of them have their own reality, their own truth. So
true.
this is something, with meditation, as you go deeper, you start getting in connection with the, universal truth instead of just the subjective truths with which we lead our life. So that is quite necessary when you are dealing in such situations, right?
Okay.
So let's end today's session because you have your therapy class. Right, it's 12:05 already. So
Okay.
I'll just end the session with Om Shanti. Take care, everyone, and I will see you for your pranayam class in the
Thank
afternoon.
you.
Om Shanti to
Thank you.
everyone.
Om Shanti.
Om Shanti.